Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for joining me. I welcome you today. I actually wanted to put out a video quite a bit ago about the NRA. I also have a guest narrator on, and I hope you enjoy her voice and what she brings to my video. Please be kind in the comment section to her. Thank you very much and enjoy.
So why don't you think that the sit-in and the filibuster, why don't you think that these things worked?
We still have a lot of people here who are loyal, obedient to the gun lobby, not to their constituents.
First of all, the NRA should just change their name to the Assassins Lobby.
You know what will happen? We'll pray for Las Vegas. Some of us will get motivated. Some of us won't get motivated. The bills will be written. They'll be watered down. They'll fail. The NRA will smother it all with money. And over time, we'll get distracted. We'll move on to the next thing. And then it will happen again and again.
Represents gun manufacturers far more than they represent gun owners. Will have some pressure that will finally force them to have a weakened position, which will give support to those like myself who have long advocated for sensible gun measures, but even those who were on the edge and not feeling confident in going after the NRA.
Welcome again. Of course, we had the recent tragedy in Las Vegas, so the focus has been on the NRA. We heard Congress say the reason we can't pass new laws is because of loyalty and obedience to the NRA instead of their constituents. We had a previous clip from years earlier with Bill Maher saying they are the Assassins Lobby. We also had Jimmy Kimmel saying the NRA will just smother it in money. And finally, Mrs. Clinton says the NRA represents manufacturers, not actual gun owners. I have to say that after listening to all of this, the NRA sounds like a bunch of jerks. So I really wanted to dig in and see what exactly does the most powerful lobby group in the U.S. actually spend and make. This report from CNN Money reports that 73% of all NRA funding comes from membership dues and individual contributions. 9% comes from advertising, 5% comes from organizational donations. None of that sounds like it comes from manufacturers. This is yet another illustration of the breakdown of where their money comes from year by year in a dollar amount. This comes from the same CNN Money report stating that the actual revenue is $433.9 million for the total revenue and other support, along with $475.9 million in other expenses. Up to this point, we have heard about the diverse support for the NRA and the actual revenue of the NRA. But without a comparison, how would we really know if this is little or a lot? So we're going to take a look now at another organization who defends a right which is just as controversial. I am speaking of the right to have an abortion and the organization that protects that right, which is Planned Parenthood. Here's a graph that does a breakdown of the revenue for Planned Parenthood. I'd like to point out that 41% of their revenue comes from government health services, reimbursements, and grants, whereas the NRA does not get their money from federal funding, but rather from its members. Here we have an actual breakdown of actual dollars, tax dollars brought in for revenue for Planned Parenthood, which is $554.6 million tax dollars. Here we have a breakdown of the total revenue for Planned Parenthood. Here we have a breakdown between Planned Parenthood and the NRA. I'd like to point out that the total received just from taxpayers alone is way more than the NRA receives in their total revenue. So who is the NRA? You may think that they look like this. Well, not really. The group in the upper left-hand corner and the group in the lower right-hand corner are part of a left-wing militia group. Actually, in reality, the NRA looks more like this. They are normal, everyday Americans just like you or me. They could be the nurse that you see at your local clinic. They could be the lawyer that you see in the court. They could also be the teacher that you see every day when you pick up your kids from school. They are all of us. As you can see, Planned Parenthood has the ability to outfund the NRA. And in this next clip of Steven Crowder's, it will give you the actual numbers each group has tied up in Congress.
Standpoint. Okay, money. The NRA is the most dangerous, powerful. Well, they've given about $3.5 million to current members of Congress since 1998. Okay, Planned Parenthood spent over $38 million to elect Democrats since 2012 alone. Okay,
so that's more.
Yeah, it's significantly more.
Big abortion, make the money, money, money.
And a lot of tax kickbacks to Planned Parenthood.
Wait, what? $3.5 million currently tied up into Congress by the NRA, yet they're supposed to be this all-powerful lobby, and yet Planned Parenthood spent $38 million. Basically, they've outspent them by 10 times in a shorter period of time, because they went back to 98. That's almost 20 years. I'm sorry. It's an absolute load of crap. So let's go with this one. This is the last point. A lot of people are saying, well, guns kill so many people. There's so many people dead from guns. Well, newsflash, the point of an abortion is to literally terminate a life. Morally justified or not, point is, that's what it is. So gun violence in this country, in terms of criminal acts killing people with guns, let's take a look. Let's see who's the bigger perpetrator here. So the gun deaths, 33,636 deaths due to firearms. And that's comes out to 10.6 deaths per 100,000. However, this is a misleading number because almost 2/3 of that number are justified shootings or suicides. So what's the actual number? The actual number comes out to be 11,000, which is only 3.5 per 100,000 deaths. Now, you might think that's a lot, but contextually speaking, not so much. But remember, we're comparing this number to the number from Planned Parenthood. So let's now take a look at that number. 327,653. Even if we were being generous and took all the gun deaths and we said, okay, fine, 33,000 gun deaths, compared to 327,653 abortions, which again is a termination of a life, although I guess that depends on your definition of life, right? So here's the whole deal. The 58 people that were killed in Las Vegas is sad, and I honestly and truly am heartbroken over the loss of their lives. But just remember, on that same day, there was at minimum 9,000 babies killed in this country. Food for thought. I'm actually going to spin off, and I'm going to do two different videos on this. I'm going to do an abortion video, and I'm going to do a gun control video, and we'll go in more depth, more facts and figures. And you know, I try my best not to be slanted or biased. I told you guys from the get-go, try to be reasonable, rational. However, when people are telling blatant, outright lies about things and blaming people and organizations whose fault it never really was, that has to make you question their motives, right? Well, anyway, everybody, I thank you very much for watching my video. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And shout out to Jackie for filling in my narratives for me. Thank you very much for joining me. See you next time. God bless.